So here is another episode of me fairly unsuccessfully, but still kind of a little bit successfully sailing around the Mediterranean in the winter, not really knowing what on earth I'm doing. So here's some footage of me just randomly messing around with the GoPro on a stick, taking videos myself. But enough of that, and I'll jump back to where we ended last week's. So the engine's off, we're moving along relatively slow, just under 2 knots, but we've got a long way to go. I think I'm going to try put the spinnaker up. I tried before once in the dark and it didn't go very well, but we're going to try again now in the daylight and see if we learnt from our previous attempt. Get rid of him. I don't actually know how to do this. I was meant to Google it. I didn't. As per usual, everything's knotted up. So hopefully it comes out of that bag nicely without getting stuck. Oh, it's not attached. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? Right, down the wet deck I go. Whoa, slippy. Having the cut thumb's not helping in any way. We are moving quite nicely, but if I get this on and we can have a big boost before the wind dies down after lunch, because we are, at this rate, it's going to take about 16 hours to get where we're going. Right, hopefully this should just come out of the bag as I hoist it. Let's see. Bag's not going to survive. Oh. Around there. Don't think this has quite gone out it was meant to, but it's gone. think we've kind of done it. It looks about right, doesn't it? Does it? I don't know. So recording over this part of a voiceover because there's actually had music on in the background which I can't upload to YouTube or it will get taken back down. I did get the spinnaker up and it was working for maybe 45 minutes and then the wind cut out a little bit. For a little bit we did have it like wing on wing, but I was that busy trying to concentrate on it I didn't get much footage, but honestly I swear to you, I have witnesses, it did go alright for a little bit. It's not so easy to use without the spinnaker pole though, because you can't keep it to the one side. I did find it was a bit difficult. I do need to get one of them poles really, but I'll add it to the long list of things that I need to buy, and it's definitely not near the top of that list. But yeah, the wind would pick up a bit later on, but we was going quite slowly for a bit. The engine was still playing up, but there we are.
When I'm next to you, over and over, the only truth ever comes back to you.
Okay, so an update. Right, an update. The boat is sailing now. The engine's been off for about an hour. It's not going fast, but it's doing between 2 and 3 knots. The wind's due to pick up for about an hour from 4 o'clock. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but just over there is where I was when I was by the rock, that little island I visited, where I was for like, that whole part's where I've been for like the last 2 years basically. Come from, well, way over there now, can't even see. I've lost track of where it was over there. But it was tempting to just go back into there because it's going to be a long day. But over there is where I'm going to go. We've tried to come in diagonally instead of going in just like that. If we cut straight over this way, it saves a bit of time. If I'd have gone in there, then I've got to come back out to go around, which I just didn't really want to go back there. Yeah, I'm hoping when that wind picks up at 4, I get a bit of a boost, and we'll just see how close we can get to Cannes. Yeah, sometimes, as I say, I want this to be like an honest thing, and you do get some peace at, well, it's not peace really, but I don't know, then sometimes you're just left to your thoughts for the whole day, and sometimes that's not what you want to be doing. But yeah, I can probably cope without going to the shop. I still need toilet roll, but if I do get to Cannes, a shop would probably be open by the time I get there, but we're still like 13, if not a few more, nautical, I forget which it is, miles away from there. So yeah, we'll see how the next hour goes, and then we'll go from there. They're going really fast. Why am I not? Genoa, oh, they feel that the exact same, like, yeah, they've flown past. So just there, that lighthouse is well, I think a little castle downside, but you can't see that on the camera. That's Cap Dremont. Then you have Estrelle just there. I mean, that whole part is called Estrelle, but mainly the rocks are what it's well known for. And then way over in the distance there, we now have a visual of Cannes. So the wind is going quite nicely. Tempted to go put the spinnaker back up because we're almost in the direction, but I'm just going to give it a few minutes so so I can go dead downwind then, or almost downwind, straight to Cannes. Now's decision time whether I stop in Agay for the night or not. If I don't, it's, you know, I'm not making the next place before dark, but I am moving, so maybe that's enough to not need to make it before dark. So decided not to go into Agay. And then the wind it's still there, but it's dying a bit, so it's going to be a bit of a slog this last part. But yeah, the sun's about to set. So from there it did turn into a slog. This is it getting dark, and then it got really dark and I couldn't really see the landscape, and every time I thought I was nearer to the end, I wasn't nearer to the end, and it just went on and on. Right, good morning from Theoule, some nice anchorage. I'll show you a bit about it later on in the video. I got in last night. The last hour yesterday was, well, the last 2 hours, maybe even 3, were just slow. Like, the engine's doing this thing where, I don't know if it's got like air in it, but it's just dropping revs. So for a bit of the day it ran in the morning, then it started dropping revs. Luckily the wind did pick up yesterday. I actually sailed most of the day, doing about 3 to 4 knots for a lot of it, so that was good. But then when the wind died down in the evening, it was just slow. I couldn't get it to do more than like 1.4 knots, and it was dark and you can't really work out the landscape, and I'm just looking on Navionics, and that was hard to tell how long it was still going to take to get to where I was going. So I didn't get in until about 9:30. So I'd actually been out on the boat yesterday for 12 hours and I've only actually done about 25 miles, so quite a long day for just 25 miles. But you know, most of them hours where the morning was really slow, there weren't really much wind, and then likewise with the evening there weren't much wind, so it was what it was. We are in now, and this is the furthest we've actually got on this boat. So I did yesterday, there were a few times where I was like, shall I just go in there, shall I just go in there, and I thought, no, I'm going to get as close to like Cannes as I can. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I'm not, it's the morning, I'm not making jokes on purpose in the morning, trust me. And something that's definitely not a joke is I've just got up, first thing I was going to do is go get in a dinghy, and then went to go get in the dinghy. Last night when I came in, the engine, when I went to reverse on the anchor, cut out, and because the engine had been not working properly all day, I didn't think of the obvious thing that maybe I'd reversed into the dinghy and the dinghy tow line has got caught up in the propeller. So that's gonna have to be the first thing I do on this cold Sunday morning. Luckily I still had a bit of gas, so I have had a coffee, so it's not going to be a complete disaster. Maybe I'll record how difficult it is to get a wetsuit on, because that in itself is a massive struggle. It's an all-in-one one, it doesn't have a zip, and it's got a hood. I keep meaning to cut the hood off. Should I just cut the hood off before I try to put it on? Maybe. Right, anyway, I'm going to get that on and I'll get in the water, I guess. I'm not looking forward to how sore my hands are and how much that's going to sting and how cold it's going to be. But anyway, yeah, let's get that done. The boat is, as you can see, a carnage behind me. I could have cleaned up before videoing, but what's the point? Like, it's the reality of what it is. Like, you get in, it's winter, it was cold. Like, I end up just getting my tea or dinner, depending where you're from in the world, and sitting there with a cover over me, not really doing much. Last night I didn't do anything. The night before I did edit some YouTube videos, but last night it was quite late, and yeah, I pretty much just sat in the warmth, so that's why it becomes a mess. So it's a mess basically. But right, so it's one of these jobbies, so it looks like a giant nappy. So the trick is, not that I know, because as you're going to see, I'm terrible at doing this, but firstly I'm going to have to tie my hair. I haven't put it on for ages, so I don't even know if I remember. You'd like to think you could just stick it all over, but that really doesn't work. So I think what I normally do is I'll try to just cut the hood off. Would that just be easier? I'm never going to use that as a hood. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm never going to go in with my hood up hammer, so. There is. I'm never gonna have the hood up on that thing. Like, I don't think I could put it up if I tried. I've now got my finger stuck in the scissors. Right, so plan is turn it inside out. Well, actually, I don't know. You know what? I've lost quite a bit of weight since I last tried to put this wetsuit on. So maybe let's just try put it on without turning it inside out. Just have to make sure your elbow's lined up with that, otherwise it all goes very badly afterwards. Oh man, it's just a time you wish you didn't have any hairs, because it's like a slow torture, it pulling on all your hair. I bet someone was thinking as I was doing that, don't cut the hood off. It's not tight now around here. Oh. Damn. Well, I went and put it on the wrong way, didn't I? Normally I can tell because there's normally a hood on it. Right, we're kind of set. I'm not looking forward to this one bit. And you just know it's going to be tight as well. Maybe take that lure out the water so it doesn't hook into me and give me another problem. This fish though, I haven't seen fish for ages like that. I really don't want to do this. I can't see any jellyfish, so that's a good start. Oh, I don't know the best way to do it. Like, do I just jump and be done with it and then swim for my life over there when it's too cold and all the water comes in the wetsuit? So I know underneath the bottom of the boat needs cleaning desperately, urgently. I just can't do it at the minute, but it's on my to-do list. They're rubbish as well, them socks. I just felt all the water just go straight to the bottom of my feet. Man. Need a new wetsuit, this one. Does not work as a wetsuit's meant to work. And the minute this top part ducks in, I'm going to feel it go right down my back. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm just going to wait a minute. I should probably just quickly get it done instead of sitting around in the cold, but so plan A was to try do it with my foot so that my wetsuit sock, or whatever you would call it, could touch all of the nastiness on the bottom of the boat and me not have to swim under there. So plan A, try do it with my foot. As you can see, plan A was not going very well. The recording of this is terrible, I know. It was really hard to try and hold the GoPro while holding onto the boat, while holding onto the rope. But yeah, plan A wasn't going well. So naturally, plan B was to try and unwrap it with my hand. However, as you can see, the bottom of the boat is just horrible, and at one point I touched some of it. It was really slimy. I thought it was a jellyfish. It's not a nice place to be under there. I do need to clean it. Here's me back up, back down. I was there for absolutely ages. And then we did make some progress on it. As you can see, I got one of the loops out, but the problem was, like, when it got to that final loop, it was, you know, that propeller was moving quite quick when it wrapped itself around, and it was properly jammed in. Anyway, to save you from loads more footage of this, I'll just tell you that I was under there for ages, you know, another good 20 minutes trying to unwrap it. In the end, the GoPro ran out of battery because I was filming for a total of like probably about an hour trying to get this off the propeller, and probably 20 minutes of me messing around not getting in the water. Eventually I had to get off and get back in with a knife and cut it all off, but I did eventually get it all loose. So that video there, I've just been editing it now. As you can see, I have lights, so I am docked for the first night now in nine days, I think, but that's, you know, that's going to come up in the next video maybe. I obviously got the propeller unwrapped. It was a bit of a silly thing. The night before, which I've not really done a good job of explaining in the video, is my trip into Theoule. It did get really like long, and I was just went way longer than I was meant to. When I actually got in, it was really dark. I couldn't see the landscape, and I was just going off my phone, which was dying, to try and see how deep the water was and everything else. And where I could anchor. But yeah, the problem is at the minute I'm just like either that video you've just watched, it's honestly the 4th time I've edited it. I then ended up like trying to, you know, keep my laptop charged enough to edit the videos while being out at anchor, and the whole thing turned into an absolute nightmare. And that's now the 4th time I've edited that, because the other times the laptop died and I lost it. So apologies if I've done it a bit rushed. I kind of just wanted to move on from it, like, and apologies that I don't, you know, I start telling what I'm doing, and then, you know, there was a whole day following on from that propeller getting tangled, but I used all of the GoPro memory and batteries recording that, and then I weren't plugged into any electricity, so it was quite hard to then get everything. It takes a long time to import them files onto the laptop, so then the rest of the day I'm going about doing whatever I'm doing, and then I don't have the GoPro. I'm trying to get better at it, so if you bear with me, that would be great. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Links or whatever you meant to say again down below. You know, any help's appreciated. Again, if you're watching this, I have survived up until now, so I don't, you know, when I'm going on in the videos about running away from ports or struggling, like, I'm not doing any of that to be like, oh, please, like, give me some money. I'm just doing it to just, I want it to be like an honest what's going on, and it's definitely a case of me just trying to get by. And I do think if I weren't doing it this way, and I'd have recorded all of this when I was back at work, and I, you know, or had loads of money or whatever, I wouldn't be telling the same story. And some of the crises, and there's more in the next video to come, probably wouldn't be happening if I weren't doing it the way I was doing it. Some people will be watching this thinking, you are an absolute idiot, like, what are you doing? Maybe I'm showing it's possible, maybe I'm showing it's impossible, but I'm just going to carry on as long as I can. So I'll see you in the next episode.